So it's a round results video. We're going to go through the last two games of the round results. It's not all completely in yet. It might happen across this video, but I couldn't wait any longer. So we're going to talk about our positives, also our negatives there. So in this game, the Roosters and the Dragons, plenty of points. Wasn't looking great for my selections at the start with Manu and Teddy being fairly low across that first 30 odd minutes. That last 5 minutes of the half kind of kicked them into gear, and the second half was great. So awesome stuff for them. Teddy picked up that try early. But the best news for him was he was running the ball plenty. So 236 metres there, 7 tackle breaks, a couple of offloads there as well. So Teddy we're very happy with. And that 56, obviously, a big game would be nice around the corner somewhere. But it's going to be interesting what happens with Manu now. Daniel Tupou's done his hamstring. Will they just move Suoli'i to a wing? Will they bring Hutchison in? Will they put Manu back to centres and bring Walker back? I'm not sure. I think the Roosters played alright in this game. Dragons actually played pretty solidly as well. But Joey Manu, a 70. So if he brought him in, very happy with that output. Obviously doesn't lose any money this week, which is great. And got his try. 29 tackles, 5 misses. You take that every day of the week. Getting involved on that side of the ball. And then 11 tackle breaks, 127 metres. So just the missed tackles were his negatives, which is good news for his potential to stay at 6 as well. And the negatives of this game was Birdie, 66. I still don't own him. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it is what it is. The best trade outs this week would have been Katoa and also our great man Hopgood to get Birdie and also Manu there. Would have been the play. Obviously, that meant I would have held Suoli'i, but it is what it is. On that one, he was definitely a good sell as well. So I can't complain on all fronts. Brendan Smith was the other one, 60. In this one that I don't have, 73 minutes. He looked great. That short rest was all he needed in this one, which was great news for him and all his owners. It's pretty high percentage now. Decent percentage in the top 5,000 as well. So Smithy there, 35 tackles for 5 misses. Had the 1 error, had the 1 penalty. So still had negatives in his game, but big run meters, had an offload, turnover tackle, had a line break, had 7 tackle breaks. Again, the same as last week. So this is the first one now where you can say, okay, he doesn't need a try for him to score pretty well. So big one for him. He'll go up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but definitely enough for him to be close to that 500k. And then I think he should be a trade-in for most people. Even with their buy in round 13, I still think that he's a solid pickup for sure. Teddy, now, if you didn't pick him up this week, I think you hold off unless you're a head-to-head player. Head-to-head players still go for it for sure. Okay, DeBellin. He ended up going off with that HIA that it looked like he suffered earlier on, and they took them a while to get him off. But I don't know how that worked out. There was no real clear indication that it was off for HIA, but the stats say it was a HIA, so potentially he could still be that 80-minute guy. Couchman played huge minutes in this one, so I'm not sure if that will come back to earth a little bit and DeBellin will go up. But JDB at the start of this game did get an offload, got an early turnover tackle as well for 43 tackles for 4 misses. So you'd imagine that 4 misses probably can drop a little bit too, and he did have an error as well. So pretty much base stats were great, 52 in base, but 4 negatives there, and then the odd offload, odd turnover tackle. It does have a good tackling technique, so that's 4 turnover tackles now in the last couple of weeks. And if you're making big tackle numbers, that's going to be very helpful for you. Guys, even if you think he's going to average 50 from here on in, he's going to be worth it because he'll be up to about 635, 640, and still has a bit of money to make. It's going to be good coverage over the buys, and will do a good job for your squad there. Egan Butcher could have had an even bigger score if that try was allowed through, but wasn't, for 52 for him. A much better game, averaging 44.4 now. What we would have hoped for at the beginning of the year is these scores around the 50 mark, but again, wasn't to be. Sloaney, another one of those games where he was negative early and then picked it up and did really well. So 43 for him. Had a couple of really good plays all within a couple of minutes. Had that awesome offload for a try assist and then a try back through the middle for himself. So Sloaney was great. If you played him again in this one, very good. If you held him and didn't play him, that's also okay. You get another price rise out of him. He's done really well, guys. He's going to be up near 200k gains after this one. Lomax 40, Radley 40, another sin bin for Rads. Crazy. Bit of a contentious one. I can understand. It's hard to get the right angle where you can see that the shoulder hits, but he's just got to hit lower, doesn't he? He just needs to hit lower. Murdoch Masila, the best cash cow in the land, 32 in this one. How good is he? 28 tackles, 4 misses. Did have an offload, did have a tackle break, and did have a line break assist. Good on you, Ben. As I said, the best cash cow ever to lay your eyes on him at 27 gain. He's going to be up around the 40s after this week, I believe, in total gain. So come on, Ben, you can do it. And the way most teams are set up next week, we're probably going to have to play him. Ooh, yuck. Not very good. Crichton, 63 minutes in this one, 28 points. So, yeah, it didn't look great, to be honest with you, in his return, but good to see him back. From a fantasy perspective, you want him to drop a fair bit, and maybe you can pick him up during the middle part of the year if he's fairly cheap as well. Couchman got the 28 points in this one, 56 minutes. You would have hoped for a lot better. He had 4 missed tackles really early in this game. Did pick up an error at the end, which could have ended up being a line break. So, yeah, just there's a few things in this game to go, yep, that's great. And then a few like, ooh, maybe he won't make too much cash. So a hit of 28 here just levels out his break even a little bit. And then if he can hit scores like that over the next few weeks, then he will start to make some cash. But that 12 last week just kills his money-making potential a little bit there. And then you got, Jackson Barlow there. He was actually having an absolute killer of a start of the year, and then he's now just hitting lots of 20s. So shows how quickly things can change. And Swilly here, I'm glad he was a trade out last week. The 15 in this one. Doesn't matter who they're playing at the moment. He's just not scoring very well. 3 missed tackles and 2 errors. He started pretty well. He was at this score after 20-odd minutes. And when you saw his goal kicking, like, oh, here we go, he'll probably score a try. He did set up one that ended up getting overturned when they went back to that Brandon Smith pass off the ground. So that was wild in itself. And Hutchison potentially goes into that centre spot, but also Momorowski didn't play very well. So, does Manu go back into that spot? He had 5 missed tackles, 2 errors, didn't get to do a lot. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out. Robbo in the post-match presser they asked him about that situation with Tupou, and he was very close to his chest in giving away any information. So that's that there. Storm and the Warriors, guys. As I said, we're going to be going through the round results in this video after these two. So I was making ranks in this one, obviously having 5 players, but no Grant was a bit of a killer. And Katoa going down early. And Warbrick, he tried his ass off. He did so well, but just wasn't able to get any sort of attacking stats there. They just continue to step back on the inside. All Hughes does is run. Even when there's opportunity outside, step back inside and run. He has great moments. He's a great player, but it's just not great for Warbrick. Fanua Blake. So this is a very interesting one. We've got a potential couple of options in this game coming out of this game. So Torhul Harris looks like he'll be out for a little bit now. He just had another knock to that knee, and means that he's going to be monitoring that again. It took him a few weeks to come back from that one. And he's done it again, aggravated again. So he could be out for a little while. I think it sounds like Nickel Klukstar is going to be out, even though he failed his concussion, but it wasn't Cat 1, so he's not clearly out for next week. I believe that's the rule, but they have a pretty short turnaround, obviously. So I think maybe because it's too short, do they have to have a 5 days minimum, even if it's Cat 2, and then 11 days if it's Cat 1, I believe. So it sounds like he's going to be out for this week, which is just frustrating. If you own Tohu, if you own Nickel Klukstar, if you own Tavanga, all injuries there. And Fanua Blake is probably going to be the beneficiary, guys. He's been great over the last few weeks. He's averaging a crazy number in the last 3 to 4 weeks. The first few games he was pretty slow, and since then he's been great, averaging 54 now. Had a try last week, a try this week. Big numbers in tackling, and the running numbers, 59 in base there, 7 tackle breaks. So he was great, guys, and definitely keep him on your radar over the next few weeks, especially if you find out that Torhul's out for a while. Fanua Blake's going to have to play big minutes, and he looked really damaging in this game. Grant there, 77. So, yeah, frustrating if you don't own him in this one. Just obviously killed Robson, and this is kind of expected in this game that he would have a bounce back after a pretty poor one last week. But a line break try, obviously the try assist there. Just whenever there's any broken play around the ruck there near the try line, he just goes in. It's similar to Brandon Smith and what he was doing. Sometimes he didn't need as much room, but yeah, Grant was awesome. Everything across the board. Negatives were down a fair bit. He's very much one of those guys that has a little bit of everything in his game, but only -9, which was great. And what you do this week with him is going to be interesting. Obviously, being out in round 9 as well, it can be a little bit frustrating, and you can decide what you want to do. Obviously, missing a bunch of games over the next sort of 10 weeks, but again, you can decide on that one. Munster was 66. He had a try, a couple of line breaks as well. Did everything. Welcome back to the 5/8 position. That's for sure. Meany, another good game for him. He's just been averaging great all year. 49 is his average. He was priced up accordingly, so he's only made a little bit, but that's that. Trent, he's been close to my favourite player all year. I love this guy. Hey, averaging 46 now. He's going to be up closer to the 200k in gains after this one. He'll be, that puts him very close to 600k. And I think if it's between Katoa and Lioro, it's clear that you trade Katoa. Leo is still going to make money after this week. He's still probably got another 50 or 100k if he can keep this, 50, 58 apparently, average up. his tackling numbers just been great. He wants to get involved in everything. And there was one point near the end, he almost missed a tackle. He was holding on by the jersey and getting dragged along just so he couldn't miss a tackle. So that's the type of the guy you want in your side. And then I think the last tackle or the second last tackle he tried to make, he did end up missing that. They bumped off him. So almost a perfect game in that, and had an awesome offload and try assist as well, which was lovely to Justin Olam there on the left. So yeah, obviously if he doesn't have that, he's closer to the high 40s, but still, I think with the craziness of this week, I understand if you'd sell him because of the buy, but also because there's so many different guys out and others you might want to hold, clearly, more before Trent. But yeah, very, very good news for his scoring for sure. Bunty Afar played massive minutes, got 47 tackles for 1 miss, so a big shout out to him. He's someone that obviously will benefit as well. They do have Barnett coming back, so be aware of that. Josh Curran will also benefit from this one. Watini Zelezniak had a good game, averaging 40.5 now, a couple of tries, but yeah, avoid him. You'll have to score tries to do really well. Kinga with 55, so if you own him, 54 tackles was great and ran the ball plenty as well. Don't trade him just yet, I don't think. I don't know. Averaging 55 for the year, do you want to trade out someone that's averaging that? Or, now that he's playing a couple less minutes, hasn't been scoring that well, do you just take your losses and take your cash that you've made and run? Potentially as well. Either way is fine. Hughesy 54 was solid, as I said, point scoring wise, did a bit of everything, ran the ball, kicked the ball, line break, try assist. Johnson 51, so yeah, a game where he didn't have any try assists to get 51 in straight base was great. So 20 tackles, 1 miss again, just keeps doing it. Massive kick meter, 673. The try assist numbers will come. Like the Warriors, this was a fun game. They were absolutely incredible. I haven't seen them that good in years in that first half, and obviously fell apart a little bit through the second part of through the second half, and Storm being Storm had a staged nice comeback, but yeah, unfortunate for that. Johnson will continue to do well. This team is good, man. This Warriors team is good. Still have their slight issues with obviously that second half, but Storm were very good in that second half as well. So it wasn't all the Warriors' fault. Lustig there 47, so Egan probably back next week, guys, so be aware of that. Niokore 40. Can't believe that with 40 there. He had 8 missed tackles, an error, a penalty, an inside 10 as well. To score a try early and just slowly fade away. He was 35 at the end of full time, and they gave him a nice update with a 1 less missed tackle and all the rest. But yeah, just an all-round strange game for 40. He does love to run in, and he was trying to tackle blokes, just running in at them. And there's a bunch of missed tackles from guys on the edge and the middle in this one. Plenty of tackle breaks across the way. So there's a lot of guys in that team. Obviously, Hughesy and all those fellas that can do great work there in tackle bust. And Ford was an unfortunate one to jump all over them and miss them. But he'll be fine, guys. We're all playing him. We're all need to hold him for sure. He's too cheap to trade at this point anyway, especially with all the injuries. Chan's there, 33. Had a pretty good game. He was going really well. 33 pretty early in this one. And then the head knock, still probably a hold. I think he's doing well enough to have hit 40s at the moment, and he's priced sort of at a decent one. Hopefully he recovers okay and he can be back in a couple of weeks for sure. Tohu sounds like he's going to be a sell, guys. Unfortunately, he should be out for a bunch of weeks at least. And then they have their buy in round 12. So I'm looking to buy him sometime in the middle part of the year. Potentially after their last buy, it could be at this point. So we'll work it out with him. But yeah, move him on. Ale got 37 minutes, just a lower game for him. A few negatives in this one. No big run meters, no big tackle numbers. So that's that for him. Tavanga, he's going to have to be moved on, unfortunately, guys. And Warbrick, 22. Worked really hard, guys. Got 3 tackle breaks in this one. Ran hard when he got his opportunity. But yeah, more work than he has in some other games. 22, take it. Didn't lose any money. Move him on this week if you can. Eli Katoa, I'll be moving him on as well. So hopefully Warbrick and Katoa. And then I really want 4 trades, but 3 is going to have to do. We'll have to work it out from there. As to what we do with the squad, which we'll jump in and check out in a sec. Be Ellie 19 in this one. Just got a couple of missed tackles early, then worked hard from there. And I was hoping that he's going to get some attacking stats in the second half. That wasn't to be. Joshi Curran will be down in the early 500s to just under 500 after this week, and potentially get some minutes through, some big minutes through the middle. Him, Barnett. If Tohu and Tavanga are out, there's two players there that are going to get big minutes. Bunty got some big ones, but I think Curran's going to be that man to do that in this one. So that's that one, guys. Let's move to my team and have a look at what's going on there. But firstly, let's go to the rankings straight from here. All right, so rankings, we'll go there now, and I'm down about 340 points now, which is a little bit frustrating, obviously, but is what it is. There's some really, teams right at the top that had cracking weeks in this one. 950 from number 1 and 983 from number 2. There's some good scores across the board there. All of those guys obviously had Tanner Boyd, which was ideal there, and a mixture of all the other legends that did really well. So Birdie in that one as well. They still had Murray, but they had Grant in there, captained well. The odd guy has Nico Hines as well, but brought in Smith, brought in Manu. Even played Qatar, but still had a great week. So it shows that team value is super important. You can get all the best players in your sides, and this is the first week in a while where the top teams have pushed further ahead than me. In my pursuit to catch up to them. And this is the first one in a while that I have lost ranks, unfortunately. So I was 730 last week, down to 810 in this one. Obviously, as I said, a few errors, a few issues. The trade outs were good. We went Hopgood and Sueli to Manu and also McInnes, who both really outscored that and did a good job. So bringing in Manu was good. Obviously, having playing Warbrick still in this one wasn't ideal, and next week we'll fix that and we'll have Jack Bird in there. So that will get a good increase of sort of 30 points or so on Warbrick's score there, which is going to be great. Teddy, Manu, Lemuelu, Miller, and Bird is going to be a great little section of players then. Brownie obviously didn't score great for us. That was a bit of a crappy game in the wet, where all the other ones were pretty much played in the dry, which allowed for much better points, as you can see across the board. Hosking was there. Murray wasn't great at all, obviously for 47. McInnes for 49, having Robson down 27 on Grant, and not trading Katoa, where a good chunk of people did in this one, was very frustrating, but that's how it goes, unfortunately. Trent was great. Johnson was solid, and 40 with the 40. I actually would have, if I got the choice and had the looper for Katoa, I would have looped forward. So that was a wash, which is completely fine. And we made some cash with Katoa. We kind of hold steady or lose a little bit with Alamotti. We make some money with Murdoch Priscilla, and I think Talau had like a 25 or 26 break even, so he drops down to 220, unfortunately. But good to see him actually playing there, and potentially is going to do is going to get a spot at some point. And if not, bench is going to be a little bit weird. But that's that. What we do this week is very annoying. I have 5k in the bank, so Katoa needs to go, but I can't go him straight to Bird, so I need to downgrade elsewhere. Whether that is Trent Leoro, whether we use Payne Haas, whether we use Murdoch Masilla, whether we use Warbrick to go down to one of those potential cheapies, which I'll speak about with Scoop later today. It's a bit of a weird one with content, guys, so I hope you're ready to consume plenty there. But what we do with a bunch of those guys is going to be very interesting, and where we get the cash from to be able to get to Bird, to be able to get to potentially Brandon Smith and like a Jack DeBellin or something like that is going to be interesting how we decide to do that. But that's where my team's at the moment. We won't just go in too much detail because there's so much content to get it through, guys. I'll speak about this team and where it's at more come trades, but team value is still doing okay. Just not my best one with an 864 in this one. So ranked okay overall for the round, but I'm obviously ranked in a good position now. I was 730, now 810, and 24 trades remaining. So not too bad. I saved one this week. I know a lot of people traded sort of 3 in this one and are sitting at like 21, 22, 23. So in a better position like that, which is good. But overall, not going too great in round 8. But it happens sometimes. Let's go to the league. So head-to-head ones. Unfortunately lost it looks like, to Eddie. Won the hand-to-head one. Won this one, and I'm down by 2 in the Revenge of the Broncos. This is all before we find out where we're at, heading into round 9 now. So we look at Ryan, who's having a cracker in my private group. He's into overall rank of 31 with a 903, which is good. And he's sitting not too distantly behind the leaders there. So he's a couple hundred points behind me, which is 150 behind the leaders, which is ideal there. Ayobi wasn't his best week, but still a solid one, 46 overall. And Matty there at 164 to round out the top 3, with Sammy Boy at 283 and Brody in there, 297. Fantasy Phil in 6, and Lockie, Mr. Scoot, had a cracker this week, guys. He's jumped ahead of me now, unfortunately, but into 578 overall, and 936 is crazy. So a big win for Scoopy. Well done, mate. That's you've been working hard to get to that point, and you've done a great job. Let's quickly go to Battle of the Podcast as well, where we are coming 8th now, unfortunately, with a couple of there. So Chris has got 2 teams in there. Come on, bruh. What's going on there? Ryan takes over of Mark there. They both had a good score, but 936 for Ryan into 68th overall. Mark at 103, who was the one that joined me in the buy planning video, guys. Make sure you check out that video if you haven't yet. There's obviously lots of content to get through, but I know you guys love it. And over the next few weeks especially, that one's going to be super important. I think you should be planning now, and you should be watching that video now. But if you aren't watching it now and you like to wait a little bit longer, then it's going to be completely relevant for all the next bunch of weeks. But he's 103, and then Rob's at 318. And going on from there. But Scoop, yeah, as I said, goes into 578, which is amazing and very well deserved from that one there. So that's that, and we'll move on to the People Squad now. To be honest, I'm not sure how much things can get worse for the People Squad. A 834 isn't great at all. Traded Trent Lioro and traded Pat Carrigan this week. So 2 amazing scores. Yes, brought in Jack Bird, which was good, but brought in Host. So didn't need to be that way. We could have gone Katoa, I think, with Lioro needing to make, being able to make more money. And yes, on the surface, it's not the most ridiculous trade with Trent not being a potential keeper. Katoa, yes, but the break evens, the injury, Trent absolutely killing it, just all plays into a part here. So not ideal. Trading Katoa instead of Lioro would have helped. Obviously Carrigan holding him, but would have had to trade someone else, and who would that have been? So yeah, it's a bit of a wash, guys. It's just annoying that we aren't scoring so well. Didn't have anyone to loop with Host. We would have played him in the 5 for sure in this one here. But yeah, having Tanner Boyd, having Grant has saved us, and other than that, scores weren't too terrific. Birdie was good, but our wing fullbacks, Walshy, Miller, Warbrick, no Manu, no Teddy. As I said, it was really those couple of guys that kind of saved us. Nicarima, he makes some cash now, which is good. Couchman, a little bit of improvement. And Ben Murdoch-Pasilla makes some cash as well. So, yeah, emergencies aren't too bad at the moment. That's a bit of an improvement. And with the 220k in the bank, we definitely need to make some moves this week to keep improving our overall rank, which is a 3,500. Not bad, guys, at all. The overall rank in round 8 was 17,000. For an 834, there's plenty of worse scores around. So let's not complain at all, and really move forward and push to continue making some great trades. And Warbrick, we won't want to be playing him anymore. I definitely think we should be using that couple 100k. We probably should use it this week, to be honest. But to use that couple 100k, if we got Manu instead of Warbrick this week, that would have worked out great. We would have had exactly enough to get Manu, and that would be another 50 points, and we'd be sitting at 885, 890, and going, oh, how good's the People Squad? And we'd be ranked like 2,000. So it's we're only one move away in a lot of these teams to get things right each and every week. If you can get that 60 or 70 point score in, you're having an absolute cracker. So that's the People Squad. Let's just move it to the Community Cup and see where we're at in that one, and then that will be the end of this video. So big thank you to everyone for checking this out. The Only Lads team, we got them by 11 points just before updates here, guys. The lockout hasn't lifted yet, so I just wanted to get this out as soon as possible. 834 against 824 there. It's cool to watch it in this sort of matchup position, guys. If you're looking at your head-to-heads, you'll see this where you match up in the centres and the like there. And him having Teddy almost got him across the line. No Hosty in that one was helpful, but we got over the line with the rest of our squad. So that's the round results and last 2 games video, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope the lockout's lifted very soon and we get team lists. I'm not sure if it's 11 or 4. I hope it's 11. It's going to help us out. But yeah, wish you all the best of luck heading into round 9. Please, if you can, watch all the content. I'm really appreciative of all that. It's a short week, I know, but hopefully you can get into that as soon as possible. I appreciate you all, and have a good one.